And we're back. A lot of you wanted to know what my natural range is. I think it's around A flat to A, so about 4 octaves. Let's find out. So, without really challenging myself too much, so any given day, that's about where I am, about 4 octaves. And then, of course, the subharmonics and growl techniques give me a few notes below that, or depending on the day, a few notes higher if I'm in really good vocal shape. Is my voice naturally deep? Yes or no? Yes and no. I would never, ever call myself a true bass.
What you talking about, Willis?
I would say more that I'm a baritone with a bass range. What does that mean? It means that I am much more comfortable singing above, somewhere in here, in that range around middle C, C below that. It's much more comfortable for me. I have these notes. I use these notes all the time. I do sing bass a lot, obviously, but for me, I would prefer to sing baritone. Well, what have we here? So many of you wanted to know about the ending of the Oogie Boogies song, and originally it sounded like this. Oogie Boogie Man. And when I sent that track to Lane, it was Lane's arrangement. He did a great job. Brilliant arrangement. He said, hey, I'm looking for a bigger ending. Can you sing that last note down the octave?
No! God, please, no! No!
I said, well, I will certainly try. So it ended up sounding like Oogie Boogie Man. Boo! And there you have it. That last note is, in fact, a sub-octave, subharmonic E. Not easy to sing live. It has taken me some time to get that down, especially from the top, that high B down to that low E in just a few short bars, but practice makes perfect. A lot of you had questions about my higher range as well, and that's kind of a funny story because I never really wanted to be a bass singer. It just kind of happened. I wanted to be a rock tenor, and specifically I really liked Chris Cornell of Soundgarden, his voice. And I found that when I was younger, if I emulated his style of singing, I could sing higher and it was more or less comfortable. So like, for example, if we take there's a middle part in Queen in 5 Minutes, and it goes like water. I've paid my dues. Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime and bad mistakes. I've made a few. Yeah, so with that one, I'm just focusing on keeping the sound as forward as I can, pushing it into the top of my forehead, keeping my larynx low and out of the way so I'm not choking myself off. And other than that, I'm just trying to put a little like edge on it so that it sounds a little more rock.
Almost makes me want to squeeze into my badass red jeans.
That is definitely not a full voice note for me. That's like a mix. A lot of you wanted to know what kind of microphone I use. This is a Shure KSM32. It sounds great on just about everything. I didn't always use this mic. This one runs about $500. I used to use a MXL 990. It's a great little mic, super cheap, about $50 US. So there's no shame in starting at the lower end of the price spectrum and working your way up. How do you increase your warmth and resonance? This is a tough one. So much of your warmth and resonance comes from your anatomy, how long your vocal cords are, how thick they are, how much space do you have in your sinus cavity to resonate that sound, your mask. In my experience, there's not a whole lot that you can do about this. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, that's not better news. For example, like I start to lose resonance around D, C sharp. So these are notes that I wouldn't choose to sing off mic if I didn't absolutely have to. Once I get down into like the A, it's just it's just never gonna get louder than that for me or more resonance. So you know, it's so low though. I'm just happy to get that note out. If you're singing on mic, something I can recommend is sing quieter and get the microphone closer, like touch it to your mouth.
That's what she said.
You'd be surprised at the difference that can make. What is my warm-up routine like? I am a little ashamed to admit that I don't actually have a warm-up routine. I never really have. The only thing that I do is I make sure I have plenty of sleep, that I haven't injured my voice in any way, that generally keeping a pretty healthy lifestyle, plenty of water, and then that works for me. You know, like I can't recommend that for anybody else. Everybody's voice is different, but it does work for me. If you're looking for some training exercises for your voice, I can recommend this book by Seth Riggs. It's called Singing for the Stars. It's a great book. There's lots of stuff in here that is totally usable and things that I haven't found anywhere else. He practices a technique called speech level singing. Check it out on Amazon. There's a link below. I am not an affiliate, so that's a great book. How can I be a better singer? Good question. I mentioned in the last video that it's more important to be a better singer than it is to be a lower singer. Far, far, far better to be a better singer than it is to be a lower singer. I stand behind that. I think one of the ways that you can become a better singer is by recording yourself and listening back. You can use anything. You don't have to have a setup like this. You can use your iPhone. That works great. I think that we tend to be our own worst critics. I know I am for sure. So if you're listening back to a recording of yourself singing and you like what you hear, that's a pretty good indication that somebody else is going to like what they hear too. If not, maybe keep practicing. Additionally, and this is a big one.
That's what she said.
Hey.
Pick up an instrument. Learn to play an instrument. I started my career as a piano player. I'm way out of practice, but it was invaluable in learning scales, music theory, reading music, notation, how to write music, chord structures, just all kinds of stuff, as well as helping you with your pitch. Also, the probability is that if you are a singer, you're not going to be in a professional a cappella group. It's a pretty rare job. I'm very lucky to have that. Usually, you'll be singing with a band or with tracks, and it really helps to be able to communicate to instrumentalists in their language. And yes, they do have their own language. I think that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys have more questions, please leave them below in the comments. My pleasure to help you guys out. Definitely check out David Larson's channel. He's linked below. I think I mentioned it in the liner notes in the last one. He's the only reason I know how to do subharmonics, and he knows a lot more than I do.
I need 2 men on this. That's what she said. No time. But she did. No time!